you're taking the course, POL241, and it happened to be the very first story of this course. Well, it's quite a very interesting course with a lot of intrigues and a lot of details here and there. This is one course that would have been very okay if it was placed or it was introduced to this department in the 300 level or 400 level. Having this course in 100 level is, if I'm not mistaken, is really not such an interesting one. Nevertheless, you just have to do it. You have to go through it still. Now, with this being said, let's just hop straight into it. Okay. Now we have political analysis. POL 214, which is on political analysis. Okay. Now let's proceed. Just a moment. Now, political analysis. What are we talking about when we mention political analysis? Now let's trace this down to the genealogy of this concept of political analysis. Let's trace it down to the point whereby, just like what we have here, said the concept of political analysis is traced to the genealogy of the point of departure from succeeding political pursuits, interests, occupations, events, and accomplishments. Now, basically, let's trace it down to the genealogy. All right. Trace it down to the genealogy of the succeeding political pursuits. Right? Succeeding political pursuits. Now we're tracing down to the genealogy of succeeding political pursuits, interests, actions, events, and interests. Actions, events, and accomplishments. Now, basically, this is all talking about, analyzing politics. When we talk about politics now, there's always a target, all right? There's always a reason why mobilizations are being made. There's always a reason, there's always a pursuit, there's always an interest for action. There's always an interest, there's always a pursuit for accomplishment. All right? Speaking of the word politics, now we're just trying to trace this down to what exactly is behind the act of politics. Now let's continue. Now we have in 1981, just a moment. Now, sorry about that. Now, in 1981, Pitkin, all right, Pitkin said something. Now, Pitkin said, politics is the activity through which relatively large and permanent group of people determine what they will collectively do. Now, remember when I said there's always a pursuit for accomplishment. There's always something in mind for before mobilization is being done. Now, let's take this down. According to Pitkin, in 1981, Now, Pitkin said, politics is the activity. Refer to politics as what? The activity. Alright? The activity through which relatively large and permanent group relatively large and permanent group of people, there's a determination, there's a goal. Okay, upon what? Work collectively. Work in accordance in order to what? Settle how they will live, decide their future, and to what extent within their power. Work collectively, there's a goal to achieve, and into consideration of their capacity. Now, it's an activity, all right, that goes through a lot of things, a lot of processes, and basically, this is not just the decision of one person to make. It's a collective decision of a group of people, all right, to come together and discuss and agree on what to do, their future, the things they all have in common, how it can benefit everybody in general, and to which extent can they achieve this. All right, that is according to Pitkin. Also, we have now Plato and Aristotle. All right, if you are just joining the stream and you are here to smash the like button, or you are here to, okay, Mr. Buka says, good evening, sir. I am in 100 level first semester public administration. Can I attend this class? Sure, you can attend, but you know what? You need to do well to message me. Yes, message me so that I can add you to the general class. But nevertheless, you can still stay. Message me so I can add you up to the class. Now we have Pitkin. Okay. Now here we have Aristotle and Plato also said something. Aristotle and Plato. Aristotle and Plato. All right. These two Greek philosophers. Now, they said, when we talk about politics, according to them, they said opinions that moral purposes that the decision-making ought to pursue to realize the public or common good to ensure happiness of all men. Meaning that, oh, awesome, we are live. So sorry about that. That's an issue from the network. I think I changed the position of my Wi-Fi back to where it is. Okay, yeah, I think that should be a bit stable now. Awesome. Now, Plato and Aristotle, these two famous Greek philosophers, says in politics, whoever it is that is making the decision, should have it in mind that whatever decision I'm making should be for the benefit of the happiness of all men. All right, should be the happiness of all men. Now we also have creeds. Now he said, now politics is a form of rule, okay? A form of what? A form of rule whereby people act together. A form of rule whereby people does what? They act together through what? An institutionalized procedure to resolve differences, make peace, diverse interest and value to make public policies. Now let's take note of this. A lot of points are here. Institutionalized procedures, meaning it's not personalized procedures. We have institutionalized procedures. This is the process at which decisions are being made. It's not a personal, it's a general process that is generally agreed upon by people. All right. This process is used what? In resolving differences, make peace, and policies. Make peace and make policies. Resolve differences, make peace, and make policies. All right. Form of rule whereby people act together through what? An institutionalized procedure to what? To resolve differences, make peace, and make policies. So we have that as that. Okay, Miss Victoria is asking of the page. Well, Miss Victoria, the material is quite complicated. So it's not a page thing, you understand? But it's definitely there. This should be on unit 1. You know, it should be on unit 1. If you go through it well, it should be on unit 1. But it's a lot of details in the material. And that's what even took quite a lot of time for us to start the class. The material is quite complicated, so it's strategically selected, but it's still the very the very beginning of the beginning part of the material. So we have that as that. Still all about politics, you know. Now let's proceed. Now we also have Max Weber said something. Now Max Weber says the state has a monopoly of illegitimate use of physical force in enforcing its order within a territorial area. Okay, Ms. Victoria, are you having issues with you should know that by now I don't use the material directly. I form my notes from the material and attend the class. All right, but you can always go back to the material if you want to still check the material. You can use the words and search the material now. So I really don't know what page exactly it is. Okay, so are you having issues still? Are you having issues? Okay, now let's proceed. Let me erase this and we can make progress. Where's my just a moment. Let me get my So this is all under politics. We are heading somewhere. It's all about political analysis, but basically this is all under politics. Now let's proceed. Just trying to erase this so we can. Okay, now, so still under the topic political analysis, still under the topic political analysis. Now, Max Weber, let's quickly chip in what Max Weber said. Let's quickly chip in what Max Weber said. You know, still in the same circumference, still under the same picture, Max Weber he chipped in what is referred to as a state. Now, he says that the state, according to him, he said that the state has a monopoly of what? Legitimate. The monopoly of the legitimate use of physical force. Legitimate use of physical force. That the state has the power to use as its will physical force. Alright? The monopoly that nobody can take it from them. Monopoly of the legitimate use of physical force in what? In enforcing its order. Order within a territory. Within a what? A given territory. So we have that as that. Now, that is what a state is according to Max Weber. Now, it might interest you to know that a state is sovereign in the sense that it is supreme, that it is the supreme law-making body within its territory. The supreme what? Law-making body in its territory. Policies a state does, it does not exceed its territory. It does not exceed its borders. All right. So it is only supreme. It only has this monopoly of the legitimate use of force in just its territory. And one of the characteristics of a state is we have population. We also have a definite territory. It must occupy a definite territory, and whatever it is doing is independent of whatever it is doing, and there should not be influence from other states in the activity of a particular state. So we have that as that. Now, sovereignty here, it means that a state has a general power of lawmaking and enforcement of law. and what? Enforcement of law. Speaking of supremacy, speaking of sovereignty, the general power of making law and enforcement. The state has this power, independent. That's why Max Weber used the word monopoly, only one, no other. That's why Marx used that monopoly. It speaks a lot. It speaks about independence, no competition. All right. Now let's proceed. Now, now let's go back to a little bit of political analysis again. Now, according to Smith in 2009, according to Smith in 2009, now Smith here is trying to break down the term political analysis. And he said it is the examination of political dynamics it is the examination of what? Political dynamics. All right. When we say dynamics, how things change, how situations, how challenges, how politicians, how social forces, how they all change. Okay. Examination of political dynamics. Now, dynamics here now could be in terms of government institutions. Definitely, examining all these changes, situations, challenges in government institutions, among government institutions, philosophies of government and all that. It's just basically about examining the political dynamics. It changes. Politics always changing. All right. So that is what Smith opined in 2009. Now, for Connis, Connis in 1994 says political analysis is said to be an organized professional attempt to do what? Comprehend, to observe, evaluate, explain all forms of political pacts. Now we have Connis 1994. Now here Connis is particular about an organized and professional attempt. Organized now this attempt is geared towards what? Observing, evaluating. Before you can give analysis, you have to observe. I think what course were we taking this evening? Talk about the processes involved in research work. Before you can give analysis, you have to have data, right? Correct data. You have to have it before you can now begin to dissect it. So now, according to what Con is saying here, says it's a professional attempt channeled towards observing first, then you evaluate and you make explanations on what to observe, political pacts. All right, political pacts. Miss Joy, you did not attend your class this morning. Miss Joy James. So we have that as that. So now let's proceed. Just a quick one. German author in 1867, he said that politics is the art of the possible. The art of the possible. That German. He said it is the art of the possible. Politics is the art of the possible, according to German author. All right, you never can tell where the questions might be coming from. So all these things you just have to go through them. Now, very quickly, let's talk about the types, right? The types of political analysis. Now, there are two major types. There are two major types. We have normative and empirical. Okay, now let's take the normative analysis first. Okay, normative analysis and empirical analysis. Okay, now normative analysis is a type of political analysis that is deeply concerned about what? Value, which is the principle, important, and substandard quality, particular about values first. Okay, which is the principles, importance, and quality of politics. Quality of politics. Now that's normative for you. Now it is therefore the mental activity employed to what? Evaluate political phenomenon. Mental ability. When you employ mental ability to what? To evaluate political phenomenon, then you will refer to that as the normative analysis, the normative kind of analysis, right? Now, we have that as that. So under normative, go to the next one. There's a word I want us to look at, and this word is called okay. Now let's just I think there are some abnormalities there. Now let's just go straight to empirical. So we have under normative now. Let's go to empirical. Now, a type of analysis common to politics. It's the second type of analysis common to politics now. From the word empirical, from this word, basically it has to do with facts, scientific analysis. Now, here now, we said mental ability, but here it has to do with facts. I don't know if we get it. Tangible facts. Now, it has to do with tangible facts. Now, let's continue. Now, here it says when you import now empirical political theory. Now, from the word empirical, it has to do with the creation of the providing of facts. I know when we say facts now, it goes through the scientific process, and this scientific process is said to be step-by-step way of doing things. Now, this first stage is you identify the subject. Then on this subject, they know what exactly is revolved around the problem and solution to be made available. So it's more of fact, but here is based on the mental ability, while here is based on facts, what is obtainable and what is not obtainable. Now, it says here, the theory of empiricism is that knowledge is primarily received through experience by means of using five senses. All right. Basically, it still talks about, facts from the word empirics. Now we have that as that. Now let's proceed. Let's talk about conceptual analysis. Now, conceptual analysis is said to be the third analysis commonly used. All right. Now, this is concerned with clarification of concepts. Conceptual. That's what it does. It clarifies concepts, particularly about the clarification of concepts. All right. Now let's proceed. Now, as we all know, the fundamental building blocks of thought and belief and effectively relate to them as problem requires some good understanding. All right. Now, the conceptual helps in clarifying the subject matter. Whatever it is we're talking about, whatever it is you're analyzing, you have to know the implication and usage of that concept. And this is what this analysis does. It helps dissect the concept in question. Now, it plays a very important role in political science because when there are events or when episode crops up, certain concepts, various concepts are used to us convey ideas and policies. All right, so it's very important in political studies. So we we have that as that for tonight. Let's hope we can still take our ENT 102 class this night. So on this note, we are going to call it a wrap for today. I think the next class for this course is on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. And I believe on that note, we're going to cover a lot of ground but for tonight, so I can catch up with the other class, hopefully. So let's call it a wrap here. So we're able to talk about political analysis, we're able to talk about what politics is itself. We've as well been able to talk about politics from different philosophers and different scholars. And also we've been able to talk about the types of what we call political analysis. And we've been able to talk about the normative, the conceptual analysis, the normative, and the empirical. So all these things we've discussed tonight. I hope you've been able to get a thing or two. Thank you very much, everyone, and I look forward to seeing you in subsequent tutorials. Bye bye.